The Nature Photo Guys podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Camera Store, located in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
It's our go-to spot for everything photography and video. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, the Camera Store has what you need.
And the best part, they ship right across Canada with free shipping on most orders over $99.
The Camera Store is a legendary name in photography, so make sure to check them out today at camerastore.com.
Welcome to the Nature Photo Guys podcast,
where we talk about nature photography, from gear to our philosophies and everything in between.
So grab a cup of coffee, sit back and relax.
You're listening to Joe Desjardins
and Chris Gibbs, the Nature Photo Guys.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Nature Photo Guys podcast.
Today's guest is someone whose journey into wildlife photography is as inspiring as the images he creates. What began as a casual hobby soon grew into something much bigger. Just 3 years ago, our guest made a life-changing decision as he left behind a steady career to chase his true passion, wildlife photography. Since then, he spent countless hours in the field, observing animals, learning the behaviors, and developing the patience needed to capture those rare and intimate portraits of wildlife in their natural habitats. But his story doesn't stop close to home. His search for the perfect image and his love for adventure has taken him all over the world. Along the way, he's built a reputation for not only capturing extraordinary scenes, but also for guiding other photographers to some of the most breathtaking destinations on the planet. And this year, his dedication was recognized in a big way. He was named 2025 Canadian Wildlife Photographer of the Year. Please welcome to the show, Maxime Légaré-Vézina.
Hello, Maxime.
Yes, hi guys.
Welcome.
How are you?
For having me.
Oh, you know what? We're actually we're happy that you found some time to come on our show, because I can't imagine how many people are asking to interview you and do talks and all that kind of stuff. So we really appreciate you coming on so soon.
We do.
You're welcome. Honestly, it's been quite crazy the past few days since the announcement. I think was last week or something. Mm-hmm. Got like couple interview at the radio. I didn't know, but there's, Radio Canada and CBC, they have like multiple different channels. So I've been doing like many interview. I'm like, it's not all the same thing, I guess. So, but that's pretty cool, getting a lot of attention lately.
Nice. You're a star.
Yeah, I guess so for now, right? I don't know how long it's going to last, but I wouldn't want all of my week to be, like that. I don't even have time to go out in the morning anymore. So I'm like, it's okay for a week, but I wouldn't do that like 365 days per year, right?
No kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no, we're really excited to have you on and really appreciate your time. So just like most of the podcasts, Maxime, we got some questions, but we just like to have a regular old conversation with you and get to know you and how you progressed, and of course congratulations on the win. So we're just going to start off. Sure. We're just going to start off with kind of what first sparked your interest in photography. How long was that, or how long ago was that?
It's been a while ago. Actually, I started in 2014. Mm-hmm. I was going actually to Australia and to New Zealand for a very long trip. I was leaving for almost a year, and I just wanted to get some good shots. I was like, I want to get to keep some good memory of this adventure. Mm-hmm. So I just, bought my first little camera, which was like a Pentax KR. It's just like a very basic camera, but it was a reflex still. So, DSLR. I bought like small lens. I think it was just like the 1855 on it. Honestly, it was very, very basic, as you can see. And when I got there, this is where, the real passion begins. When you see like the kangaroo and like the cockatoos and like all the crazy birds, crazy animals there, this is where the real passion began. I could even call that an obsession. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Because I'm actually still upset by this, 10 years later. Yeah. I'm still pretty much going out, like, I would say, I don't know, but maybe 4 or 5 days per week. Nice. But this is where everything started.
Nice.
Very cool. You must have to get a little close with that 18 to 55.
Oh yeah, yeah. But you know what? When I was there, I actually upgraded after like a month or two.
Oh, okay.
So I bought the 7D Mark II. I think it was
nice.
which was way better, and it was just out at that time. So I was like, oh, that's great. Okay, I'm gonna get that. And I think it was like a Tamron lens. It was a 18 to like 300 or something. So there's a lot of flexibility because I was doing back then quite a few landscape shots too. So yeah, so that was a better gear. So I just kept this Pentax for a couple of months actually.
Oh, very cool. I think we both had the 7D Mark II back in the day.
Yep. Yeah, I had that one also too. It was a great camera.
It was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Absolutely. It was great for wildlife, especially birds with the crop sensor and everything.
Yeah, exactly. With the 1.6 crop, honestly, they were like always quite close, even if I didn't have like a huge telephoto lens.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So you're still shooting Canon to this day?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Okay. So the lens we see in a lot of these photos, 600.
Yeah. 604, yeah.
So that's your main go-to lens, eh? Okay,
exactly,
cool.
yeah.
What body are you using?
The 5D. Nice. The 5D, the R5. I had the 5D for a while, 5D4 after the 7D, but now I have the R5, yeah. Tried the R5 too, but I had some problems with the call. I don't know if you guys have it or if you heard about it.
I haven't tried the R5 too yet, no.
No, okay. So yeah, it was a bit of problem. So I just returned it. I'm just waiting for this to be fixed, and I'm probably going to get it because the pre-capture and the other features, it's quite cool. Honestly, I was having fun with this body for the little amount of time that it lasts. But I'll probably get it again soon.
Yeah, we heard the autofocus is quite a bit better on that camera when it's working, I guess, right?
Honestly, I didn't get a chance to test it that much because I just had it for a week. I bought it actually in January last year, and you're going in Quebec, it gets pretty cold. You guys both in Calgary?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it gets cold too into winter. I've never been in the winter. Okay. So it's probably the same. So I just added for a week. It was like probably minus 20 something. So the camera just wouldn't open. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to, at least I kept my my R5, the one I had before. So I'm still with this one. I love this camera anyway. So.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
It's still a great camera for sure.
Yeah, sorry. When you said the 5D, I'm going, right on. I mean, I had the original 5D also. So.
Oh yeah,
I had the 5D Mark III. I had.
Also, it's been a while for you guys too, I guess. Yeah, how long?
Absolutely. Oh, with Canon?
No, just like photography in general.
Oh, I started with slide film.
Okay, yeah. So, as I said,
Joe's
it's been
old.
a long time.
Joe's old.
I'm old. Yeah.
I probably started in mid 2000s, I guess, in photography. I kind of had a video background, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, awesome.
Yeah. So, from my understanding, that you kind of went straight into wildlife then, like you didn't experiment with, portraits or landscapes or anything else. It was just kind of jumped right in.
I did landscape at first. I would say when I started, it was probably like 70% landscape, 30% wildlife. And, the more the year goes, and I just got like a 10%. And now I would say it's probably like 95% wildlife and 5% landscape.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But I still love, a good landscape photo. When I look at it, when I'm on Instagram or anywhere, I'm just looking to like amazing landscapes. And I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could be that person, But I'm just, it's hard, I think, to do both because both are at, for sunrise or sunset.
True. Yeah.
So, if you decide to do landscape, you might miss some opportunities in terms of wildlife. So I really feel like you need to choose at some point what you want to focus on. So for now, I guess it's wildlife.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that struggle is real because it's prime light for wildlife, especially if you want to get like silhouettes, sunrise with the animal in the foreground, that like all that kind of stuff where, it's also prime time to get those beautiful landscape shots. So
exactly,
you certainly have to pick. And that time you do decide to do a landscape image, you got a nice big bull elk on the ridge with the sun coming up, and you're not set up for it and everything else, right? So
yeah.
Do you find in any new locations that you go to, you focus on getting the odd landscape still, just because it's something new to you, or do you just focus on wildlife still?
I would say usually when I travel, it's pretty much I have like obviously a list of species I want to see, so I just like focus on that. So I'm going back actually to Australia next week. I'm leaving on Monday. It's just like
nice.
It's exciting. Very soon. I have like a couple of spot well known for a landscape that I want to stop by, because I will be there for a month and a half. So I'm like, okay, I've got enough time to do like a couple waterfalls and other things. But again, 95% I think will be wildlife.
Nice.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's so much to see there, I suppose, right?
Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool. Honestly, going back, because I told you this is where everything started.
Yeah.
So now, like 10 years later, going back there, with the gear that I have now and the experience and everything. So I'm like, this is going to be great, I think. I hope
Full
so.
circle.
But yeah, I'll do my best.
So while we're on the subject of gear, what are some of the other lenses you use for wildlife photography?
I've got the only RF I have is the 7200 to 8. So I love this one. It's just not one that we use super often, because we need to be quite close to the subject. So I've got this one. I still have the 100 to 400 EF that I use. I don't like it that much anymore, honestly. It's like I did war with this lens. If you would see it, it's just like completely destroyed. So it's not like super sharp anymore. So I don't like to use it. But when I really don't have a choice, for example, for mammals like a moose or anything, I'm not going to shoot that with the 600, unless I want to do very tight portrait shot. So then I still have this one. I'm thinking maybe I should get, the RF 100 to 500, but it's just, I don't know. It's the 7.1 that is the problem that bothers me here. Yeah.
I did upgrade from the 100 to 400 to the 100 to 500, but purely for the video stabilization, because it's that extra stability, right? But you're right. It's still 1 to 400. It's still pretty much the same aperture, but the moment you go to the 500, that's when it jumps to the 7.1. So you're right. For low light conditions, it's very difficult.
7.1, because I actually borrowed one. I just come back from Alaska. And I borrowed one because I knew the bears would be quite close. I was like, okay, I need like a mid-range zoom. So I'm going to take this one. So I borrowed it. And people were shooting with the 400 to 8. And they were like at 640 ISO. And I was like already at 3200. I was like, what's wrong? I was like, no, it's not working. So I'm just used to always shoot, the biggest aperture. I'm always at f4 usually, because I'm crazy about, I want my background to be as soft as possible. So, but then I was like, oh my, this is a nightmare. So yeah, I mean, I like how sharp that lens is, because, it's as sharp as a prime, right? But it's just the 7.1 that is, and I'm not sure about. So I'm waiting, hopefully they will release something like, I don't know, I went on Canon rumor and they say like 300 to 600, about that one. F4 would be incredible.
It's been rumored for a while.
It's going to be huge, right? Because I know Sigma has one, and it's a huge one. I don't know if you can really handhold that for long. Sure. But yeah, I would buy it for sure.
But even the 70 to 200, like you have, like maybe with is that the original 70 to 200 RF?
Yeah, the one that is,
Oh, okay.
I like it that because it's super small. It's very small in my backpack.
Sure.
This version is great. Yeah.
Can it handle a teleconverter? That one or no?
That's a good.
Yeah, because I don't know if it can or not, because I know some of those lenses, like the 100 to 500, when I put a teleconverter on there, I have to extend it because it doesn't. You can't put a teleconverter on there, right? Yeah, so it's kind of funky. About that. So I don't know about the 70 to 200 if it does it, but it'd give you an f4.
I would be like at what would it be like 280,
340 or something? Yeah, 280 maybe. Yeah. So maybe there's something there.
Yeah, it could be an idea. I honestly didn't think of it. I have the 1.4, but the EF. I don't have the RF one because it's the only RF lens I have so far. So maybe someday. That's a good idea though.
Yeah, just mid-range kind of scenario there. So,
so could you tell us a little bit about your transition to full-time? Because
sure.
From our research, you went from basically like a corporate job to wildlife photography. So if you don't mind sharing that.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
Of course, people are always interested in this, especially photographers, because they all want to know how is this possible. So I was actually working for 12 years for the bank called Desjardins. You probably know that name, Joe. Yeah. Desjardins is a big bank in Quebec.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the biggest one here. So I worked there actually for 12 years.
Oh, geez.
The cool thing about that job is I was working, I would say evening shift. So I was working from like 12 from noon until 8 p.m., which gives me obviously all of my morning off. So I could still shoot, 7 days per week. I was working also 4 days per week. So I still had a lot of time for photography. So I think I just, started, I told you 10 years ago, I opened my Facebook page, getting known a little bit. And I think I started guiding some workshop. It was like 5 or 6 years ago. I just started to do some private kayak tour with people. I got a pretty good response. Honestly, I wasn't expecting a lot because I was like, will people really want to pay money to come with me kayaking? But I was like, if I don't try, I'm never going to know. But honestly, just the first summer I started this, it was quite a few people interested. And so I've done that for like 2 years. And at some point it was kind of hard to, still do like photography plus this full-time job. Because even if I was just working 4 days, it was still, a lot. So, and people were asking, because I was still traveling too. And people were like, will you organize some workshop or anything? I was like, I don't know, because I have this full-time job, right? So at some point I was like, maybe this job is just too much. Maybe I'm just not going to do it anymore. So I decided to quit. It seems pretty simple. Obviously, it was quite a long process. So I left it's been over 3 years now. It was like spring 2022. Then just before leaving, actually, what I did, I remember I announced my first workshop, rail trip. It was like a Quebec tour, like 12 days workshop that were photographing moose and seals and other cool stuff.
Nice.
And I was like, I'm going to see if people, are interested. And I think it was sold out in like a couple of days. So I was like, okay, so it's working. So I was like, but I didn't have enough holidays, enough vacation at my work to do that. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to quit then. So that's pretty much how it started.
The rest is history. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And so far, so good. So it's been 3 years. So it's still, I'm still doing well now.
So what made you realize that, photography was kind of your calling? Was it the fact that you're just kind of getting tired of the corporate thing and you wanted to be an entrepreneur, like you wanted to just go out on your own, be your own boss, enjoy nature, teach people? Like, was there something, like, was there a specific moment, or was it what you just said? I sold out this workshop. It's like, I don't have enough holidays. Screw it. I'm done.
No, actually, it was still always on the back of my head. I was like, because, it's pretty much not every photographer's dream, but a lot of people are thinking about this. And obviously we all want, to pursue our passion for that is become our main job. So it was on the back of my head for a while. And I was like, maybe it could be cool. But for me, I didn't want to let's say live poorly, because I didn't expect to do some good money with it. And I was like, no, I prefer to stay at this bank, make some money so I can pay for my trip. But at some point I had to, to take this decision. And since I started like 2 years before doing the kayak tour and some owls tour also during the winter, I knew that I really like to be with people and, to make them learn some new things about their camera composition and everything. So I just really like that. So I felt like it was kind of my calling. I was like, I think I need to do this. So, and then, at some point, as I told you, I just needed to quit because I didn't have enough time. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. I think you're right. Every photographer wants to know how you're doing it full time.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's always the same question. And and I also get it. A lot of private message. They were like, I'm just starting in photography. I would like to, obviously to live from it. And it's hard because usually what I would say is good luck with that. No, but I don't want to be rude, but it's, it's hard. Someone who's starting now, I don't even know what advice to give, because, we're a couple in Quebec who succeed to live just, just from photography. But we all have our different style. Some will have like a shop where they sell prints, and another one will do some, other things. I'm doing workshops. So we all have our way to make this work. But I think you need to find your way. So it's not like a job that you can study for. Wildlife photographer is not something that is very common, obviously. So I think it's just, and there's a lot of super talented people. We see a lot of them on Instagram and everywhere. Sometimes it's just like, oh my God, 1,000 followers. What's wrong? I mean, this photographer is insane. So I think there is also a, you need to be lucky too, I think, honestly. Obviously the algorithm needs to like you too, because I think a lot of the business is coming from social network now. So it's hard to find, let's say, the perfect recipe to make this work, right?
Well, and I think a lot of people also are afraid they're going to lose that passion, right? That passion of
That is
what
true.
they love, and it's going to become just a job, and they're not going to enjoy it anymore. How did you kind of how work through that scenario yourself when you?
Honestly, I heard that a lot, but I'm
Yeah,
still pretty crazy about this. Honestly,
yeah,
I'm not when I'm in Quebec now. I'm not going out as often as I used to, especially since I just got back from a trip and I'm leaving for another one.
sure,
So it's been like 10 years that I'm always out. So I've pretty much, photographed everything that I can here. But I still have this passion, honestly. When I go out in the field, I still feel, and I'm glad it's still there, this passion, because I wouldn't want,
Oh, for sure.
because it becomes my job to lose this passion. And I think this could be a problem the day when it starts to be like, a job instead of a passion,
yeah.
then I might reconsider, but so far it's been, over 3 years and I'm still, very crazy about photography. So
Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's
way
so
to go
good
with
to
it for
hear.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
For
great.
sure. Absolutely. So were there any big influences like early in your career? Like who were some of the guys that you like to follow or read their books or, maybe copy their style at one point or, maybe try their techniques? Were there any names that, kind of helped you early on?
There wasn't any like specific people because I was just following a lot of people, but I think the
Yeah.
inspiration was coming mostly from Instagram.
Hmm.
I was seeing like, people do some incredible stuff out there. Even, today I'm scrolling sometimes just like, oh my God, this guy photographed, a bird with the tornado in the background. I don't recall his name, but I don't know if you know the one I'm talking about. Hopefully he's gonna watch this podcast. But yeah, I'm just people have some crazy ideas. So yeah, I think it's just like I would say the general community of photographer that's out there. There's just sometimes I see something gives me an idea, I want to try
Oh,
something.
sure.
Obviously I try, not to copy, but it might just trigger something. Okay, I'm gonna try to do like, I don't know, a high key of that subject or any,
Hmm.
any ideas. So I would just say people in general, like even maybe you guys. Maybe I saw some of your photos. I just didn't know it was you.
Yeah, no,
Could be.
absolutely.
Possible.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I've had some influences like along the way back when there wasn't even social media, right? So it was all about books. Go to the
Oh,
bookstore, see who's the latest book. I mean, I've got hundreds of books in my collection, and yeah, and that's kind of where I got a lot of it, or a lot of the ideas and stuff too. But starting out in the social media realm, I mean, I think that's a huge advantage for a lot of people too. Like you said, you get access to all kinds of genres, all kinds of wildlife, everything around the world. Like it's just,
yeah,
yeah, it's crazy actually.
That
Yeah.
it
didn't
is.
exist when we started.
No.
And I feel like people are like improving, getting better faster now. I don't know if it's the
Yeah.
case for you, because
Yeah,
when I started, like, in like 11 years ago, I mean, it took a couple of years. If I was showing you some photos I was taking at first,
Hmm.
it was very, very honestly, and it
Hmm.
took a while, say like a couple of
Yeah.
months and even a year before,
Yep.
it before getting better. But now, some
Hmm.
people,
sure.
they're just starting, and like 6 months after, they're already getting some great shots. I'm like, really? What
At
was
that level.
wrong with
Yeah.
me? But I
Yeah.
feel like now people, we see a lot of this. So people, I think they just understand what's supposed
Yep.
to be good or not. So
True.
it's a good thing for them. But
Hmm.
they don't need, they won't take like 5 years to make their first good shots, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I find YouTube is a big factor with people first starting out with photography and getting that direction and help. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm a YouTube guy. I'm on YouTube every day, and like even just for searching and research and that sort of thing. And I mean, there's a lot of good channels out there that first time photographers with a kit right off the shelf that can just start to improve right away. So they've got that advantage also. Yeah,
But you're
YouTube.
right. Like any question about lenses or cameras or techniques
Hmm.
or whatever, it's out there now. Like everybody can find all this stuff. It's like, what is it they call the YouTube University, right?
Oh
So it's
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's true. Yeah, I'm watching some tutorials once in a while. Even
Hmm.
for like editing stuff or like
Yeah.
anything you
yeah,
want is
Absolutely.
actually out there for free.
Hmm.
yeah,
So
right.
basically, there's no way not to learn. So yeah, that's a good point, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's no. It's certainly been a help for me. I'm sure help for a lot of photographers. But
Sure.
I think we want to get to the big question here. Really want to know, Maxime, how you felt when you got that call or that email
cool.
from Canadian Geographic, Wildlife Photographer of the Year.
That was a great feeling.
Did they email you or call you or?
Actually, I got an email, and I remember I was actually at the bear camp in Alaska, and I was just back to the tent where we had internet. I was just like looking to I was like, oh, there is an email. I was like, oh my god, I couldn't share it. Wow. I could, because obviously it was like needed to wait for the press release and everything. So I was oh my god. Okay, I told my mom.
Yeah, of course.
I told mommy that. So I just told, some super close people. I was like, okay, I know they're not going to tell anyone. But yeah, that was very exciting, honestly. I tried this contest like 3 times. It was my 3rd time. I sent a whole bunch of photos, like 20 photos. That's quite a lot, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to send them everything. So,
absolutely.
And that's all just good. I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. So I've won some, other contests before, but, small contests in Quebec or, but it's still always, super, it's always feel awesome when you get something like this. But this recognition was like next level, I would say.
Feels like you're on the right track, eh?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it also, I think part of the prize was a residency. Is that correct with CanGeo?
Exactly. For 2 years. I'm actually just after you guys. I'm having this phone call with someone from them. So I'll get more details about this. I know I'll get a photo assignment in BC. I don't know much details about this yet, but I get also the residency. So I'm pretty sure it's going to give some great business opportunities. But honestly, just the title itself was pretty cool. We could just end there and I would be like, oh, that's super cool.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just some recognition. That recognition is really huge for you.
Exactly.
Good for you. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about, walking through, the winning image, but being the grand prize winner, there isn't necessarily one image that gave you the title, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. It's actually for the entire portfolio, I think. Which is in my case 20. As I said, I sent quite. I was like, should I send just 10? I was like, no, I'm going to do my best 20. So that's what I did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we'll do is obviously we'll be posting some of these images, as we're talking and stuff.
During the video. Yeah.
Was there any one image that you thought, well, ooh, okay. So if you had to post one that you think would have won you the competition or won you the wildlife portion of it, which one would it have been? Because you said, I was going to just send a few and then I sent 20. So which one do you think might have done it for you?
Yeah, there is one that I really like. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a wide-angle shot of a nutcrackers with a Peyto Lake in background.
Oh yes,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's one. I was actually doing a workshop, and like my clients were there, and when I saw the nutcracker, I was like, oh my God! So get out of my work. No, I'm kidding, but I was like, this is my turn to shoot. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that kind of guy. No, but honestly, I was just like so excited. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take my camera out.
Look over there. I gotta,
exactly. You try to point them in other direction. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, we all shot that bird. Honestly, it was around for a while. You guys are from Calgary, so I guess you know what I'm talking about. You're probably been there multiple times.
Yeah.
Lucky you, by the way, to have the Rockies just in your backyard. Oh my God. Someday maybe. So
we take for granted though, you take for granted living that close. I'm sure you do the same at home, right? So it's still the Rockies, right? You guys have all the mammals, of Canada, and plus like the epic landscapes. The only thing you don't have is the ocean. I would say it's the only thing that but you can just go to Vancouver and you're fine. So
absolutely,
it's a little 10 hours drive. So
it's not too bad.
But so I would say this nutcrackers wide-angle shot is pretty much one of my favorite. What else? There was also a raven in this like burned forest of Jasper. We all know what happened there last summer. So I just went like a couple of days after the opening to the public. And it was, I don't know if you guys have been there probably, but it's completely burned for like an hour. I was just like, oh my God, such devastation. And there was like this raven. I really felt inspired, honestly, because I was like, oh my God, it was so heartbreaking, but at the same time, it was kind of impressive, seeing this. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So anyway, there was this raven and, perched on a bird tree, just like screaming. There was a little backlight so I could catch, the breath. So that's another shot that I like. What else? There was also a portrait close up of a black bear with beautiful side light, like super close up of the head. So that one I really like it too. What else did I say? There's a few, honestly. It's hard to say. It's my top 3 favorite, I will say.
Yeah, I wanted to know which one you thought was the best one for you.
Yeah.
If you only had to submit one, right? So
yeah.
So that would have done it for you then. Okay, cool. So has this recognition like changed anything about your approach to work now, or are you just going to basically just keep doing what you're doing? It seems to be working, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's been just a week, right? So so far, I wouldn't see any major change except, that my schedule of time is more, I'm more busy, especially since I'm leaving next week. I have a few things, to get in order before leaving.
Sure. Yeah.
So I would say I'm quite busy, but I'm pretty sure things just probably going to be back to normal. Just hope to get more opportunities. Obviously, I was on TV and on radio, so I'm getting a lot of, new followers, new people, so I just think, at the end of the day, it's probably going to be good for the business, for workshops.
Sure.
I'm also doing an exhibition this fall, and I just announced it last week, I think, and there's more people now who said that they're going to go than, all the previous one before. So I'm expecting to get, a couple hundred people for sure.
Great.
So I was probably just keep doing the same thing, but, I was able to with more success because it was already quite successful. So just doing my thing again, absolutely. I guess.
There you go.
Yeah,
where's the exhibition going to be?
It's in Quebec City. There's a place, Domaine Mézeray. So it's just I've been going to this place. I think it's my 6th exhibition there. I just do one day exhibition every fall, so I can meet people and talk with them a little bit. It's cool to see people in person, because we're obviously on Facebook, Instagram the entire year. And you can talk a lot to people, but seeing them in person is always good. So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So any advice for somebody chasing, competition? Those people are like, I want to win, or, I want to place or anything like that. Is there any advice? Or would you just basically say, like you had said, send in your top images? Because, you weren't shooting for the competition.
No, exactly.
So back in the day, we used to shoot. I was a portrait photographer and wedding photographer. We'd always do our job, and then at the end of the session, we'd always do 2 or 3 or 4 images that we thought we could use for competition or for accreditations and stuff like that, right? But I guess the advantage of this is that you're shooting for the best all the time, anyways. So. You're just trying to create the best work you can. So,
growing your portfolio. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Just, having fun. Basically, you guys know this is what we do. I'm just going out. I want some nice scenes. I'm just, always looking something new. And it's basically what I did. I was just like, I'm going to send them my top 20, the photos that I like the most from Canada. And, if it's happening, great. If it's not, it's fine. Last year. And you know what? The photos that I sent last year, in my personal opinion, were better, but I just got like one honorable mention, which was great. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's better than nothing for
absolutely.
Sure. And this year I tried again. So it's hard because, it's all from, personal taste, what we like.
Yeah.
So we don't know who the judges are. I don't know if
That's right.
I don't think it's public or anyway. I don't know. So
it's not.
I don't think so. Yeah.
No, I don't think it is.
No.
So. It's hard to know what they like. Usually when I apply for a contest, maybe I would just look to the previous winners, just looking. So, they kind of like the wide angle stuff. So then I'm going to send them, these nutcrackers, for example. But it's hard to tell, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, I totally get that. And like you said, last year you thought your work was better than this year. The emotional attachment we have to our work is insane. It's really hard to let go from that and say, "Oh, no, it's not really that good." When, well, you know what I mean? Like,
when you do the shot yourself, usually you're supposed to like it, right? Because
exactly.
Everything that I post almost daily on Facebook and Instagram, and when I post it, I always do it because I like it. And it was, sometimes like everyone, I have some result. I'm just like, oh my God, just, couple hundreds. Anyway, so I'm just like, oh my God, people really didn't like that at all. But I think it's important not to take it personal, right? Because it's just the algorithm again. So I'm just like, I'm still liking it. So it's the most important thing. And
that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
I tend to say that a lot. I mean, people are going to love you. People are going to hate with you. As long as you're happy with what you're putting out and doing, that's all that matters, right? So, and the algorithm is so messed up sometimes. Who knows what's going to happen.
Changes all the time. So, I think this is made that we just can't crack it, right? There's no way to understand what it wants. And I think some people create some photographer out there might create some do some photos just because they know, for example, like a specific subject, like let's say owls. I'm shooting owls a lot, so I have no judgment here, just to say that people we know that people are crazy about owls, so they just post owls. But I'm just I'm gonna post. I'm always posted what I like personally and not what I think people want to see. So that's maybe great. I would get better result if I was if I was posting what I think people want to see, but it's just, there's another way I proceed. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought up social media because we kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it. Love it or hate it. Is it necessary? I'm sure it's played a huge role in your career.
It does,
and how do you balance that with, your everyday life or time in the field? Because I just got back from a recent trip also, and it was tough because I'm photographing polar bears, but at the same time, I want to be able to record, record something saying, oh, I'm out in the field, but that's happening. And then, so
you're missing some opportunities because of it. Yeah, I know.
Absolutely. So how do you do that? How do you approach that in the field, or do you kind of do it off to the side? Because what I found was I just stopped doing that. And when I went back to my cabin, I just said, then I talked, to the camera or, my phone and just say, hey, I just experienced this, that, maybe here's some photos, because I didn't want to take away from the moment. So I find it hard because a lot of people do that, they're in the process. I'm like, you're either missing the photos or you're just missing the opportunity to just sit there and watch. Like not even take photos,
show, right?
Yeah, just take it all in. So what are your thoughts? Like, how do you approach that?
I would say that I refuse to do some vlogging stuff. You will never see me. I'm not saying that I'm never going to do it, but you will never see me like talking to the camera. Hey guys, I'm here, this working. Like people are doing this a lot. And I know the people who are following us, they love the behind the scene. They will love that. They say, you never talk to the camera. I was like, because, when I'm out there, I want to shoot, right? This is what I do. I want to enjoy this. And if I just think about, talking to my phone, I won't enjoy it that much anymore, right?
Yeah.
So that part is pretty much the only thing I would say that I refuse to do, even if I know that I should. It's still working well, right? So I'm good. I guess the decision is good.
Sure.
But I still, I still sometimes record, do some, so I still film instead of taking photos sometimes to do just some reels. And then I'm just like, I miss some, if there's like crazy action scene, I'm supposed to be happy to add it, on film. But it's just like, I hope I was photographing because I just missed a great shot there because I'm 100% a photographer, not like a, filmmaker. So yeah, this is that I do. Also, I think it's a lot of time. Obviously, what I do is I use Meta Business Suite. You probably use that to program all of my posts. For example, now I'm going to Australia and the first month, everything is already, pre-posted. So it's going to post automatically. So I think I save time, but it took me a while, probably like a day just to schedule all of the posts. Especially since now you can just post one photo now. So I'm trying to post like a photo with a song that is fitting, plus behind the scene, and plus. So we always need to do more and more.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's definitely time consuming.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's the amount of time that I spend on like, Facebook and Instagram, and but it's a lot. It's probably as much time as the time in the field, I would say, which is many hours per week. Probably, I don't know. I would guess like at least 15 hours to 20, if not 30 per week, just on social network. That's a lot.
No, you're right. I mean, you definitely got to keep at it for sure. And you do a bunch of reels too. Have you started doing those reels when they kind of said that Instagram's now a lot of video and let's start doing those reels?
Yeah.
And did you see a lot of uptake from that?
Yeah, sure. I jumped in actually quite quickly when I saw the trend. I was like, I didn't want to. Honestly, I didn't want to do that. I was like, I have to. I felt like I really had to. And it worked well, honestly. The first one I did, I think I got like 50,000 followers in like a week. So because back then, like it was like 3 or 4 years ago. So they were pushing hard time the reel, trying to do some competition to TikTok, I think. So they were like pushing all the creators who were doing reels. I feel like at the end of the day, it was cool because now you have a good number. People are just like, wow, 50,000 followers. It's huge. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like they're real followers. I mean, they're just like people who follow you, but don't even see what you're doing anymore. So it's just like to have a nice number of following. But at the end of the day, I don't think it gives many business opportunities, or I don't even think those people are really interested in our work. So I still keep doing, real every once in a while, but I stopped actually. I did quite a few, and at some point I was just like, I spent like 6 months without doing any.
Okay.
And now I just tried one last week, which was pretty, and like numbers were very low. So I was just like, you know what? I think now the Reels era is done. I don't know if you agree with me, but now it's all about carousel. So
Carousels, absolutely.
I'm just like, but I'm glad the Reels are done because I didn't like doing it. So now you just need to, try. It's always to find new way to promote your work and also try to follow this trend. So yeah, now it's carousel, but I like carousel better than Reels. So I'm okay with that for now.
Sure. Well, and you do have you do have some videos of wildlife on those Reels, and you said you're not a filmmaker, but so really you're doing some of the video of the wildlife purely for the Reels. You're not using it elsewhere, or
100% for Reels, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm even shooting vertical usually for the Reels, which make it you can't do anything else with this, right? I mean, I saw probably a couple of clips, but it's, when I'm doing this, it's just like, I was like, okay, maybe, I would probably start, filming when it's been like, let's say an hour that I'm with the animal, and instead of, just stop shooting, I'm just like, okay, then maybe it's time now to do, to do some stuff for Reels. So it's always more and more. I guess it's part of the job. It's not my favorite part though.
Sure. Yeah. The video was more forced just because of the real thing, but you'd rather just do the photo side, basically what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Gotcha. Yeah.
That's always the struggle for us. I mean, I'm a photographer, but I have a video background, so I do a lot of video now.
And Joe's doing like that too.
Joe's doing some video now too, or whatever. But yeah, that's always the struggle we talk about all the time. And then do you do the photo? Do you take a photo, or do you record the video, the behavior, right? So it's always a struggle for sure.
That's it. And I'm sure people told you, because people, when I'm complaining about this, they're like, "Oh, but maybe you can just export a photo from your video." I'm just like, I've never tried.
I get that question honestly. All the time.
Yeah, me too. It's what I'm saying. But I'm just like, honestly, I've never tried, and I don't think I'm never going to try. I don't know if you get like probably some very bad quality image, but it's not going to work. So I'm like, it's either one or the other.
That's right.
Yeah, just need to make take a good decision, right?
Well, and that's the thing we always explain. I mean, at the end of the day, you're either your shutter speed is super high to take the photo, or else you're creating the motion blur for the video to make it look natural to the eye. So you can't really take a photo from that. You'll have the motion blur, right? It wouldn't be sharp. Mm-hmm. So yeah, for sure. Get exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the struggle is real. I know we keep saying that, but, and the thing too, is you get, it's like taking photos like, oh, this would be cool behavior. So you start to record, and then you end up shutting off the video just when that real good piece happens, and then you can't get to photos fast enough, and so it's ridiculous.
It happens.
I missed some shots. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to be a filmmaker, it's almost like get a cinema camera and your gear and go and not think about photos. You know what I mean? Like you almost have to make that distinction, right? So
exactly, like when we started, we're talking about landscape and wildlife. So again, I feel like if you want to be like great in what you're doing, I would need to be like 100% focused on video, which is not the case for me. And every time I get this great scene, I'm just like, I wish I was, taking some photos of this. Yeah. So this is where I noticed I was just like, I'm definitely not a filmmaker. But there's really a struggle here. I hear you guys. Same here.
Oh, it's brutal. And usually when Chris and I are actually shooting, at the end of the interaction, Chris will say like, "Oh, did you get the photo?" Yeah, and I'm like, "Did you get the video?" Yeah. So, because Chris is primarily video and I'm primarily photo, so we usually have it covered if we're out shooting together, anyways. For
okay, that's good.
You
can see it, right?
Exactly. At least for a YouTube video or something like that, right? So
I found that the behavior, right? I like capturing the behavior, the motion. I still get my photos. Don't get me wrong, but then I switch over to video, and I am one that's actually considering just getting a straight cinema camera so you can just focus in the moment, be in the moment, focus on what you're trying to accomplish rather than having that thought in your head. Should I switch? Should I not switch it? And this way you don't have that option, right? So
because this, I've seen this camera, you can take photos with it. It's just videos.
Yeah. So I use, the R5 I use. So, I mean, it's, you use the same one. So it takes 8K video and 120 frames, 4K. I use the R5C, which also does that. It doesn't have stabilization, but it's got the hybrid cinema photo menu from the Canon side. But I'm considering the C80, which is just purely the cinema. It's kind of the same body as like the R1 size, maybe a little bigger than an R1, but it's just strictly video. Yeah, so I'm definitely thinking about that. But
would you change the lens? Because there was in Alaska, there was this BBC crew filming for the bears, and it seems like they all have a 50 to 1,000 lens. I don't know if you know the one. I've never seen it before.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. We see it in the field quite a bit. We've run into some crews for sure, and they all have that lens. But I don't know what the Canadian cost is, but I know it's $85,000 US. And majority of those guys are renting it or borrowing it. It's an expensive lens.
I think she said, the girl I talked to, she said it's like, I think f5 to like 22. So I believe it was like, if it's like f22, it must be cheaper. But okay, apparently it's not. Okay. But I mean, something that covers from 50 to 1,000 is just like, it's insane, right?
So I do have the 100 to 500, but I do have a 400 2.8. So 400 2.8 is my go-to lens for everything these days. I love the look and feel of that one, but having the range, the 100 to 500 is good too. But the 50 to 1,000, it's a massive lens. It is. A lot of people use it on like a red body, like the Cinema Red brand. They use it on that. I do know some people that we've run into that use the 60 to 600 Sigma, or there's another one a friend of ours uses as well. It's the 300 or something, Joe, 300 to 800 or something, Sigma. Anyways, it's something like that. But yeah, so definitely people, when they can't have that lens, they're using it as another scenario. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm still using my same RF or EF lenses with that camera I'd be still using. So
yeah, that's a good setup, honestly. It's just, I also like to handhold. I don't like tripod, honestly. And it's why when I'm filming also, it's always, moving. Even if I'm doing some slow-mo, then it's a bit better. Totally. I was like, if I really want, to commit to do some videos, I will need to bring my tripod all the time, which I don't like.
Sure.
And if you get this huge lens, obviously you need to have like the massive tripod, and it's just like, I think it's not for me. But
for sure. Well, but with the stabilization these days, like, I mean, there's 8 stops of stabilization between the R5 and the 400 2.8 with being RF to R. So it's definitely a lot more. Hand holding is a lot better these days than it once was. So I do a lot of handheld video. But when you're zoomed in super far, of course, it's any movement, you're noticing that. So you're right. When it's 120 frames per second, it's less noticeable for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
We just want to take a quick break to give a shout out to our title sponsor, The Camera Store in Calgary, Alberta.
The Camera Store is where we go for all our photography and video gear. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned professional, they've got you covered.
Plus, they ship right across Canada with free shipping on most orders over $99. You can find everything you need at thecamerastore.com.
So, being out in the field so much, was there, excuse me, any like real intense moments that you may have come across, maybe, photographing bears, or you came across a cougar, or, anything like that you might want to share that I'm sure people would love to hear?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few. I don't know. You guys know how it is. It's hard to pick one story. Maybe the one, if I'm talking about, this bear shot that I sent to the contest. This portrait of the black bear. Yeah. So I was just, walking the beach to go to a place where they fish. They wait for the salmon to go, up in the river. And when I got there, I also got this shot. Maybe I will send it to you so you can put it in the video. But the bear was actually walking on the shoreline with this beautiful, like, pink sunrise and backdrop, beautiful, like, sea fog and mountains. It was incredible. So I just took like the 100-400 to do some wider angle stuff. And it's one of my favorite shots ever. And so this was probably my best shot of the year. It was like 2 years ago. And 15 minutes after, the bear came super close. And then I put back, the 600 plus the 1.4 because I really wanted to get this super close up of the head. And there was this gorgeous side light, on half of his face. It was just like, this moment was incredible. Honestly, I was just like, oh my God. So 2 completely different shots in like 15 minutes. I was just like, wow, this was the day. It's why we always go out. I'm always going out in the field. Kidding. You're always waiting for that. You have a couple times per year where everything is just perfect. So yeah, this was it.
So nothing too scary though. Like you never had like an
encounter of some sort.
Yeah, like ever been in a precarious position, or been it sounds like you had a really great bear trip. Was there any like bluff charging or anything that was a little too close for comfort sort of thing?
There was once actually in Alberta. So I went for the Grizzlies in the Rockies. They're in the Rockies. They're not the same. I'm used to the little black bears, in Quebec that are not really afraid, that are super afraid of human, but I'm not afraid of. And so I was in the Rockies, and there was like this grizzly eating in a field. And I was like, oh my God. So I found out it was a good idea, just, try to get closer to it, like walking to the forest. So I just parked the car, walked to the forest, but I couldn't see it anymore because there was some like little hills. And, when I got out of the forest, I was actually like way closer than expected. So the bear freaked out. Oh yeah, didn't like that. I didn't like it either. It was not my goal here.
Yeah.
So he just like ran to the forest. I was just like, okay, I'm good. He obviously stood up and like looked at me. I was like, oh my, I had the bear spray. So I was, prepared, but still didn't want to disturb the poor animal was just trying to eat. And then so he ran to the forest. So I waited like a couple minutes. And I was like, okay, I'm just, going to go back to my car. And when I went to the forest, it was actually, I don't know if it was waiting for me, but it felt like it. And then it stood up again and pretend that, it was charging. But, I would say 20 meters before it reached me, just like ran the other direction. So I'm sure if I would just, back up it and try to run away, I would probably be dead by now. But I just, faced it. I grabbed the bear spray. I was just like, come on, come here. And it just like, it ran in the other direction. But I was like, oh my God, what just happened? So I just went back to my car. I told that to my friend from Calgary. They were like, you crazy? Why have you done that? I was just like, but I just, I was just really amateur, I guess, in what I've done. So I'm not going to do it again. I promise.
So you stayed in the car the rest of your trip. That was
no, but basically I was like, no, I'm never, going after a bear again, especially, if I would rather have my car closer, or at least try to make some noise so he will know that I'm coming. Because I'm just used to trying not to make any noise, so because the animal won't notice me. But in that case, he needed to be aware of my presence. So yeah, it was just a bad move. I'm not going to do it twice, I promise.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
100% with bears. And for the most part too, when you're photographing grizzlies or black bears, especially when they're feeding, I find my experience that, you're like, hey, bear, you're making noise. They'll basically just lift their head, look at you, and they'll go right back down to feeding. There's no surprise. There's no anything. That way there, things are a little bit more comfortable between, you and the bear. It's the coming up, the spooking, the sudden
surprise scenario.
The surprise. That was bad. Yeah. That was really bad. I just felt, I was like, oh my God. This was just such a bad thing to do. I really felt like an amateur. I was like, wow, I'm not. So yeah. So now at least I know. I'm the kind of person who learned from the mistake. So I'm just now I know. So I'm not going to do it again.
Oh, 100%. And that's that's all part of it. You learn while you're in the field, and next time, that sort of thing. I mean, same thing would be for you learning how to approach, say, loons on the lake in your kayak, or learning how to, photograph this or that. It's all learned stuff. A lot of that stuff you just don't know until you experience it. You can read about it all day long, but I think what you experience and do, then it's certainly going to stick with you, especially when a bear bluff charges you like that. So
a grizzly,
and a grizzly of all things too, right?
It happened to you guys too, or?
I've been bluff charged once by a black bear, and she had 2 cubs. But the thing was, what really I don't understand what triggered that was she was walking away with her cubs, and she was probably 70, 80 yards away, like actually going out of the meadow and on her way. And something happened where she turned. She cut the distance in half in like seconds.
Oh,
and
my
I'm
God,
like, whoa. And she stopped. So it was a bluff charge. And to this day, I still don't understand what happened, but that was scary. I mean, I wouldn't have had a chance. I was shooting off tripod, long lens, I wouldn't have had a chance to really do anything get inside my truck.
They were fast, right? They were, me too. And it was coming for me. I was just like, but I was ready at least, because when I got to the forest, it stood up. So then I just grabbed the bear spray and I was just, ready for it.
Yeah.
So I feel you, but they're just, they're bears, right? Just doing their bear's life. So
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
Nothing really, major, but, you got to be careful. I mean, even when you're camping, right? We've run into some scenarios where we wake up and there's a bear like 10 feet away from the front of our vehicle or whatever. You wake up and there was a mom and cubs, grizzlies right out front, and you just got to be careful. You make sure you look around and all that kind of stuff. So nothing major, but yeah, you're living in their territory, right? So you're always on the lookout and making sure you're in a safe scenario, not usually going in after certain scenarios. And a lot of the times we travel in groups. We don't always go by ourselves in there, but so that helps for sure.
Yeah, that helps for sure. Yeah. In that case, I was alone. So I think it was probably it wasn't my best plan.
Yeah, that would have been, yeah. I did run into an issue with a bull elk. I kind of got turned around on in a kind of an island scenario on a river, and that was a little precarious. So stand behind a tree, wait till they move, making sure
they're aggressive.
They know where you're there. They are aggressive.
Oh yeah, they're very aggressive.
Yeah, especially during the rut.
Oh yeah. I was in Jasper a couple of times for the rut, and I just they pretend like they're attacking the car. They just stop like a meter before. I'm just like, and they're huge. First time I saw an elk, in my head, they were like the red deer in Europe or something the white-tailed in the East. And when I saw an elk, this thing is massive. It's almost as big as a moose, right?
Yeah.
So they're like,
there's some big boys out there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's funny you saying about the elk actually just stopping short.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, there was some parts trucks park trucks, like Jasper Parks, where they were actually hit with the antlers. They had holes in the park trucks.
I'm not surprised.
Out of being aggressive. And the other thing you got to watch too is in the spring when the cows are calving. We've had some friends that have been pinned inside of, a toilet in the campsite or behind trees or whatever, because a lot of times you can't see where the calves are, right? They're in the tall grass, they're motionless, but you're walking by and mom sees you as a threat. They can get aggressive. Like,
the females too.
Yeah.
Really? I would say there's more incidences with the females that I know amongst our friends than the big bulls. I had one. I've told this story before, but I pulled over, and I was I just wanted to photograph some cows, and take some photos. And I had one come right to me, head down, and hit the side of my vehicle, only to find out that there was a calf right there. Like you can't see them, right?
Yeah.
But I guess my car was parked too close to that, and she came in and just rammed the side of the vehicle.
Wow.
So, they're okay.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's very good to know.
It is. You want to stay away from the cows too, or stay safe distance, especially when
exactly. I prefer to stay away from the elks, honestly, because I just don't trust them. Since I've seen them, charging, and you probably saw some videos online too, of them, charging people and everything. So I'm just when I look at them, just like, I don't trust you. So I like to have at least like a tree between me and the bull.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah. So at least there's something that you can try to.
Totally. And they're fast. They're really fast. Yeah. When they're ready, they're gone. So you just get out of their way for sure. Yeah. We've seen that happen. Even if they're at a distance, they'll get fast close to you for sure.
I'm sure they will.
They'll cut that distance.
Yes.
So looking at your imagery, I just wanted to touch base on editing just a little wee bit, and your philosophy on editing photos and stuff. You certainly have a style. And the style is very sharp, very clean. Those backgrounds are nice and creamy, that's
too creamy sometimes. When I look to my gallery, I'm just like, oh my God, it's too much. I need more texture in there, but it's just, what I've been doing for like too long. So it's hard to get, know. So, but sometimes just like, no, it's too much. I need more texture, and I just, keep forgetting it. But I think style is always like in evolution, I guess, because there are some people who stay like they are, and which is fine, honestly. But I like to obviously trying some new things, improve and do other things. But it's too creamy. I will work on that.
It's got to be tough though. I mean, all the imagery is amazing, but it's got to be tough when you're shooting a 600 f4 to click over the f8 to get a little bit more detail in the background.
Yeah, just
exactly.
It's that look and feel. That's why you got the lens, right? It's the look and feel that you're wanting. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, it's why I also think the one that I'm missing is the one you have, Chris. I need the 400-8 for multiple reasons. And that is one of them, because I was just like, the animals will be, they won't fill the frame that much, because I feel like when I'm shooting, for example, owls in the winter, I only do like 90% of the time it's just like vertical shot, because they're just always way too close, and there's no way to back up because they're usually, in this dense forest or something. So I'm just like, maybe the 600, it's still good for, for small birds and ducks and, birds that are afraid or skittish animals. So for like 50% of the times, I'm sure I would still like to have the 600. But there is at least another good 50 amount of the time where I wish I had less, so I could compose the image differently.
Sure.
And I would also get more, details in the background. And so I need the 400. I really do.
It's still with the 400-2.8. There's a reason I got the 2.8, right? So it's hard for me to go to the f8 on that too, right? Because it's a look and feel. But the beauty part of it is, right, you can put a 1.4 teleconverter on there and be at 560 f4. Yeah. So you can still get that distance of the 600 f4, maybe not as crisp and clean as the 600 f4 straight out of the box, but
it's probably almost the same, don't you think?
Yeah, I think I haven't used the 600 f4, but I'm sure it's very close. Yeah.
Well, Chris and I have been talking about lenses because I purchased a 400-2.8. I haven't got it yet, but I'm to this minute, I'm still thinking. I had this conversation with Pierce earlier about the 600 f4, and I did sharpness charts and weights and lengths and autofocus speeds, and I mean I've got it all, and I'm still on the fence. But because I've primarily shot a 500 f4 for the last 12 years, right?
Okay.
So I'm on the fence, but just by what you had said too, the versatility of a 400 2.8 with a 1.4, you're at 560, you're 40 millimeters of focal length away from what you're shooting,
right?
No. And then with the cameras you're using, with the 45 megapixel crop sensors, I mean, cropping in is not even an issue anymore. So, so when they did the sharpness charts and looked, I mean, it's so tiny that it's not even a consideration. You know, it's when you put the 2x teleconverter on, you start to lose quite a bit. You go from being able to print like say 60 or 70, 80 inch prints to like 40 inch to 50 inch prints based on, you know, what you can crop and stuff. But even then, I mean, if you're not doing that, and, you know, you can still get that reach and, you know, that sharpness and, you know, video, that sort of thing. So, even now to this minute, I'm still thinking about the 600.
Tell you, when Maxime was talking about the birds, I'm like, I think that answers Joe's question he had earlier. So,
But, you know, for mammals, I really feel like the 400 is way better for the owls too, because you have the 2.8, you know, some of them are nocturnal so then you get more light. I just wish, but I really wish that, you know, Canon had the 400 with the 1.4 TC.
Sure.
Yes.
Like, honestly, I'm even thinking about doing the big move. I've been thinking a lot. Yeah, honest, because I want that lens. I need it.
Yeah.
Even. No, really. I'm just like, it exists, you know, somewhere. It's just another brand, right? I would need to, you know, I would lose a lot, obviously. So I'm just still waiting, because maybe if there is this 300, 600 f4, I would love that lens, even if it's going to be big. But honestly, a 400 to 8 with a, you know, 1.4 TC, it would be incredible.
Yeah. And that's my go-to scenario. I mean, yes, I do have the teleconverter that I have to take the lens off and put it on, but it still gets me there. It's not as quick as probably that other lens that you're
just
talking about.
I don't know if you've seen it, the Nikon one, you know, with the built-in.
Oh, we've seen it. Yeah.
It's just like, I thought you needed probably like, you know, to turn off the camera and then just, you know, do it. No, you can just do it like it takes a second, right? I just wish we had that option, but maybe someday, right? I hope they're working on it, guys. That would be nice.
I think they've probably heard a lot of that lens to them, right? So I'm sure that hopefully one day. But I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many amazing brands out there. There's so many amazing lenses and camera bodies. I don't think you can go wrong with any of the big brands these days, for sure. Whether it's you know, Sony, Nikon, Fuji, you know, Canon, whatever, right? So I think, no matter what you end up deciding, I think you're going to be fine. But we do know a few people that have switched to Nikon, or have gone from Nikon to Canon and back to Nikon, because, you know, the color science is different too. So you kind of get used to that color science. So that's one thing that might change as well, right?
Yeah, I know. I did a lot of research when I was considering the move. I was just, should I do it? Should I not? And now I still haven't decided yet.
Sure.
I want, you know, I saved to buy a new lens, but I'm just like, should I really get the 400, knowing that maybe like in 6 months there will be a 400 with the 1.4?
Right.
So Joe, you said, so you actually just bought it, right?
I did buy a 400 2.8, yes, and but I haven't got it into my hand yet, so I'm still at that cusp where I could probably just buy the 600 instead of the 400. You know what I mean? Like return it, like not even get it into my hands and go with the 600. But the more I talk about it and the more research I do, because I shoot primarily large mammals, the 400 2.8 is the way to go.
Yeah. If I could do it again now, I feel like I would probably get the 400. Or, you know, you said you had the 5 for a while. I just wish, you know what? I was wondering, why isn't there like a 500 3.5, right? Because I mean, this is the 600 f4, the 400 2.8, a 500 2.5 would be just perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I just wish that lens would exist, because I have a lot of friends who have the 500, and you know, it's just because sometimes 6 is just like a bit too much, right? So I was like, if I could just have 100 millimeters less, it would be good. So honestly, that's a good choice, Joe.
Yeah, I think so too. And when with the 500, I've always shot with a 1.4 teleconverter. I like that look and feel of like, so I always that 700 5.6. And so Chris and I were talking about this too, because I always started with the 1.4 on. Because a lot of the mammals, they're usually far away, and we kind of work our way, watching behavior, making sure we're not pushing, and that kind of stuff. But Chris always starts at the 400 and add the teleconverter if he needs to, to continue on, right? So so the 400 2.8 with a 1.4, I mean, I'd still be starting a little bit longer than what I'd have anyways.
So is it it's 560, right?
Yeah, it'd be 560. F4.
It's reasonable. It's
absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, it was a struggle, but I'm obviously leaning or probably just hang on to the 400. But like you said, when you're thinking about getting that 400 along with the 600, it actually is funny because I did a lot of research in ChatGPT. It said, if your budget, is there, just buy them both. I'm like, sure, who's got $40,000? Yeah, I'll just carry two.
Of course, but
get to 103. Yeah,
it's not just a matter of budget, but also, for example, when I'm traveling, I'm just like, having like two big lens. I think at some point it's going to become a problem. Best scenario, I would have the 100 300 2.8, the 400 2.8, and the 600. Then I would cover everything, right? And maybe one wide angle just in case of. But sure. I mean, you can't have everything in your backpack, and you can't carry that every time in the field. So I'm just...
You need to bring a Sherpa with you to carry all that gear for you.
That is true. I'll work on that. Good point, Chris. Yeah.
Well, hey, we're available. We can come with you.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked about social media, and you're saying, you've seen so many good images. It almost seems like it's been oversaturated. I mean, like back in the day, you were like, there was a good handful, 20, 30 wildlife photographers you knew about. Now there's thousands, if not tens of thousands from all over the world. So do you think it's the industry is getting a little oversaturated, or do you think there's still, plenty of room for new people to, kind of make their mark?
That's a good one, Joe. I would say the photographer in me preferred it before COVID, when it was way less people. The guide in me liked the fact, because every photographer out there are potential customer.
Oh, absolutely.
True. Yeah.
So it's hard, but if I was not guiding and I was just a photographer, I guess it would probably be a nightmare, because now everywhere we go, there's obviously much more people than what we're used to. Because I've been doing this for 11 years. Like, if I was just before COVID, if I was going out during a snowstorm, like to a city park where I knew there was some owls, to photograph them with the snow and everything, I was alone. For sure. Yes. I was 100% sure not to see anyone. Now, same conditions 5 years later, I would go, there will probably be like 20, 30, 40 people.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the same, because, I travel quite a bit, and it's the same thing everywhere in the world. So in Europe, it's the same thing. So I feel like now there's, I don't know the amount, but I would probably say at least 3 times more photographer in the past 5 years than, before COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of hard to me, because the place where I used to go in to be just like in peace, nobody else. Now there's always a lot of people. So, but as I said, in terms of business, it's good business opportunities. So it's hard to say. Yeah, but there's definitely more people. That's for sure, 100%.
Oh yeah.
And eBirds certainly hasn't helped. With that.
No, that's for sure.
I find, I don't use the app. I know of the app, but I've just been told from other photographers that, people are getting a little too specific in places where they've seen birds and everything else for whatever reason why they would post that. I'm sure there's a reason based on the app, but then you get like 20, 30, 40 photographers surrounding like a pygmy owl. And this pygmy owl's got nowhere to hunt. And you're basically, flushing these birds out of the area because, pygmy owls, a friend of mine said, like, one came down off the branch and dove right in front of them into the grass and came up with a vole or a mouse or whatever like that. But at the same time, there was like 30 photographers surrounding this pygmy owl, waiting for it to do something. And you could just tell right then and there you're impeding on this animal's life, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
It needed to hunt. It did find something, and I guess the photographers didn't obviously spook it off, but it was still stressed to the point where maybe it felt like it had to get that right away and then fly off or whatever it is. So eBirds is certainly not.
That's not helping for sure.
Photographer's friend. Yeah.
I feel like when I'm finding, because I use it once in a while, and I'm like, if I find a spot on eBird, I know it's going to be crowded.
That's
so
right.
If I know, and sometimes if I find something, I'm just like, I hope it's not going to be on eBird. I hope so. If I find, for example, a new spot. So lately what I'm trying to do is just, go to different spots that are not on eBird. Because we have the second biggest country in the world, right? We're lucky. We have like super wild spaces. So I'm just, animals are everywhere. So lately I've been trying to find some new place because I feel like, going in the same place where I used to go with like that many people, I don't enjoy it that much anymore.
That's right.
You also get the same shot, right? So you'll have the same image in everyone, and you see some pretty behavior, and it's just like, it's not a fun experience. So if I would do it, it would be just to get the image itself, which is worthless, it's just not worth anything. But the experience itself is just super bad. So I'm trying not to do it anymore. So sometimes the moment I would do that, is go like to busy park, would be in the winter. For example, I'm trying for 2 weeks to find something in like, let's say I go north, I'm trying to find something in winter, and it's hard. All of our birds migrate, the mammals are more scarce. So it's hard to find them. So then I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to the city park. I'm going to do a couple easy shots, and then I'll be good. But the rest of the time I try to avoid that kind of situation. But it's definitely more common. And I feel like the closer we are to the big center, like, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, Quebec. So obviously there's more people. So this is the kind of place where it happens. So sometimes I just wish I could just move somewhere, super small town, 100 people, I would be in peace. So
No, absolutely. So is there any bucket list animals, seeing that we're talking about that, or bucket list trips that are coming up, or something
there is
planned? Yeah,
the list is long. Believe me.
It is for everybody.
I did an Excel file of for all the month, the places that I could go to.
Oh yeah.
Main dream would probably Antarctica for the penguins. I love birds.
Oh yeah.
You guys probably know it. So this is probably like the number one dream. But there is other things like I know it's a cliche, but snow leopards. I will love that.
Sure.
There's many, many, many species. Some species I will tell you, you'll probably be like, what the hell is that? But because I'm kind of a birder too, because I love birds, and I know some species people are just like, how did you find that? Sometimes I would just go on eBird, just look through species. I'm just like, this bird's insane. So I just add it to the list. So I have like an endless list of things to do and to photograph. So yeah.
Oh, I think most wildlife photographers.
Yeah, I think we all do, right?
Yeah.
What's yours? What's yours, guys? What's your the number one?
Well, I have a number one for sure. I still to this day have never seen a lynx, believe it or not. We live in Canada, and still to this day I haven't
in
seen
Calgary. I think if you go north.
Yeah, there's a lot of different places, but for some reason everybody seems to tell me that that there's a lynx just ran behind your vehicle. I'm like, oh, well, thanks. So I seem to miss it by like 5 seconds every single time. So soon, I think.
But I'm sure you will get it. But lynx is just probably the dream. Yeah, me too. Honestly, lynx are just like that. A wolf also. I would love a good wolf.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe?
I just came back from the Arctic. I was just north up in Svalbard.
Oh, were you?
But but now it's Antarctica. I want to go to both poles, kind of thing,
Yeah.
and go through the Drake Passage and see the penguins and all
me
that.
too.
Because
Take
I've
me with
talked
you,
with
Joe, please. Oh.
Sure. You just need a really good stomach.
I was gonna say I don't think my stomach can manage the Drake Passage. So you guys tell me how it is. So
I think I'm gonna be good. I took a overnight ferry from Anchorage to Kodiak. It was like 14 hours, and it was like the entire night.
Really?
And I really thought, I was just like, it's a very good practice for Antarctica, because people told me before you go, you need to know. And honestly, it went just fine. Actually, I was just like sleeping, and I was like, oh, it's fine.
Okay, so there's the thing with seasickness that I didn't know about was they kept telling us, okay, we're getting into some rough waters, try and get to sleep. Because while you're sleeping, you're laying down, the seasickness doesn't affect you. So because for me, it rocked me to sleep. I'm just like, I was laying down.
You're like, what happened, actually?
But the minute I got up, well, yeah. But the minute I got up, because something was going on, and I sat up on the edge of the bed and I started feeling it, I'm like, I need to go to the wash. But I only threw up once. And then after that, it was about the third day in, I was good for the rest of the trip, because I was taking some anti-nausea, pills.
Was it working?
Yeah, I think so. And then I stayed in certain spots of the ship. So if you stay in the center, my cabin was right at the front, so I felt everything. So I went up into the lounge and stayed at the lounge, which was kind of the center of the ship, and I just fell asleep in the chair, in the bed. It was just, and you see that it's kind of funny because people are all kind of spread out. I mean, there was only 12 of us on this ship. It was awesome, but people are kind of spread out on the top in the main area to try and combat that, right? So I would go over there, I'd bring my blanket and a pillow, and then I would try and watch a movie, try to ignore what was happening. But you look out the side and you see the window, and you see the sky, then you see the water, then you see the sky. So I couldn't even look at that. So I had to really concentrate on other things to eliminate that.
Really moving.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's not so much the front, the back, it's the swells going side to side. That's where it really messes with your equilibrium and stuff. So
it seems hard. Okay, so only more practice before I do anything. And tell me, so you just come back from Svalbard, you said, how was it? Because I know there is this new regulation, like, is it the kilometers away from the bear? Were you guys going to international seas, or?
So it was the new regulations came in. Certain spots in the national parks, you had to be 500 meters, and but we went up right into the pack ice. So there's no regulations up in certain spots in the pack ice. So we had the polar bears quite close and coming in. And, when you're out on the Zodiacs, there weren't polar bears in the region, but, we're photographing the walrus and some of the fjords where, you had 10,000 birds, you know what I mean? Like just these bird cliffs and everything else. So
it must be incredible.
Oh, it was. And, a lot of people think that that really impacted the tourism and the ships, but it did not. I mean,
that's good to know. That's what I wanted to know.
The opportunities were endless, but we could talk about that after too. If you want to know,
sure. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
More information, but north, south. I know Chris was thinking about Africa too. I think that's a bucket list for a lot of people.
Oh yes,
to see the top 5 or whatever it is that you want to see, right? So
I would go for the bird, honestly. Like there's some insane cranes there, and because people are obviously focusing on the big 5, but I'm just like, I would obviously want to photograph them.
Sure,
but there is some nice owls, and there is some like bee eaters and some very cool stuff too. So. So someday too. Africa's on my list too, obviously.
And I think I'm kind of the opposite. I'll go for the big 5, and if the birds get in the way, well, okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
What about the birds on the big 5? Hey?
No, there you go. Why
not? I'm okay with that.
Well, actually, this trip to Svalbard, we saw so many cool birds, and a lot of them were kind of rare. And I photographed every single one that was available to us, and learned quite a bit because, obviously the guides, and we had
Ivory Gull,
a photographer.
probably?
Oh, I got ivory gulls sharing a seal carcass with the polar bears.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the fulmars and the kittiwake and the little ox. Oh my God, those guys were so cute.
Oh yeah.
But just everything. So we had a fellow photographer, Marius, who's a big bird guy, and so he was like, every time we see something, he'd explain it and this and that. So it was really good to have somebody so passionate about birds with us to explain it all,
Yeah.
We had puffins, we had, all kinds of really, really cool things. So, so people think, oh, the high Arctic, the pack ice, polar bears. Oh my God, there's so much more.
I mean, just the walrus too. It's incredible. And I think you get super close to them. So yeah.
Yeah. And you can. Yeah. So between the walrus and like we saw 4 types of seals, 4 types of whales, walrus, birds, like it was pretty incredible. So, I just wasn't sure, when you think the high Arctic, you think this desolate landscape that, you might find something here or there. It is teeming with wildlife. It is.
Yeah. At that time of the year, I'm sure during summer, it must be.
It was. Yeah. We went prime time and that's the reason why I went at that time, is primarily because it's wildlife season, so, and able to get through the pack ice. We were at 82 degrees, right? So we're way
really
up
like
high.
Up north, right?
Absolutely. No so. But no, awesome. I was just kind of curious because I think most photographers do have a similar list, primarily wildlife photographers, and the list is never ending.
It's not. I just keep, checking something, but I'm always adding. I check one, I add 2. So I'm just wondering, like, will a lifetime be enough? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know yet, but we'll see.
Yeah. And that's the beauty part of wildlife photography is it's a lifetime pursuit. There's always going to be something to see. And from this YouTube video I just watched the other day about birders, it was a really cool video. I forget what it's called, but these people are trying to do the big year, and and they travel all over the place, but it seems like none of them have even come close to photographing every species in the world, per se. You know what I mean? Like they'll do it for the southern US or for Canada or specific regions. But even if you're like yourself, a bird photographer, you've got a lifetime of pursuing these birds,
I think there's like
all over the world.
But a good friend of mine is actually a very good birder, and he's after I think now he's probably at about over 5,000 species, and he wants to photograph them, and he's a great photographer too. So he gets some epic shot of like, some species that, are barely seen, super rare bird, and he travels like all over the world. And I'm just like, this is incredible. He's getting some very cool stuff. So me too. I'm just sometimes it's why I'm after. For example, the bird, a species I would love is the whiskered auklet. I don't know if you should like Google it. This is probably my number 1 bird species in the world. It's just like a little auklet, so seabird, but just like with crazy like feathers. It's just like
Okay. Well, we'll put a picture up here.
Look at that. Yeah. So it's whiskered auklet. Yeah.
Okay.
Auklet, whiskered auklet.
Yeah. Okay. I think you have to do that. It's some island between Japan and Russia. So it seems like very complicated, but I'm just like, someday I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the amount of people they spend, like they said, one guy said, this bird cost me $22,000, or this bird cost me $40,000 because I had to travel here, stay here for 3 weeks, get on that. And like, this is for a bird, but hey, I mean, I'd probably do that for a lion, or you may do that for like that bird, or whatever it is. But, it's a pretty insane hobby. Like birders are so passionate about finding birds. It's absolutely insane, and it's awesome. They have that passion, for something, right? So,
they do.
But cool. Well, we got a few more questions here for you. So what advice would you give like a younger you, first starting out, because it's been 11 years I know you said within the last 5 years, you you tried the workshops. That started to become successful. Maybe you would have tried it a little bit sooner, or do you think like your progress has been on pace, done properly, or would you have tried something like within the first 6 months or a year? Because it sounds to me like you really accelerated fast. You're like, okay, I'm in this on this trip in Australia. Yeah, this camera sucks. I need to do this because I know the scenery's here, I know the landscapes here, and you want to come back with good quality images. So right off the bat, you kind of saw maybe where this was going.
Even when you first started. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. When you first started. So anything you would have changed differently, or anything like that? Or
honestly, it's so hard. And it's a question that I get asked a lot. That's a hard one, because I really feel like, everyone find their way to do it. So I think because it worked for me, I don't think it's going to work for someone else.
Oh, sure.
But it is very hard to say. I think, the first thing is you need to love waking up in the morning and to go out in the field, because some people, they just don't like to wake up, right? So I'm just like, find something else then. Because if you still want to do it after 20 years, you need to to love actually what you do. I would say, I think for me, I told you most of the business actually came from social networks. So I guess you need to try to get known there. But again, there is some super talented people who are not getting any attention. So it's hard again, because my clients or other people are asking me, okay, so I'm going to open a Facebook page. So how do I get known now? I'm just like, I did this like 11 years ago. So back then it was probably easier. There wasn't as many photographers. So I would say just to pursue their passion maybe. And at some point, I think business opportunity will come if it's really, this person calling. I think it's probably going to come. So for me, people were actually asking, oh, it's so cool what you're doing in kayak. So have you ever think of bringing people? I was just like, oh no. So then I started and it worked, fine. Same things, for the workshop and for, for the travel things, people were actually asking for it. So in my case, it was easier. I'm sure there's like multiple way to succeed at this, but I really think you need to find your own, which is like it's kind of a answer because I know people want to have like the recipe. So how do I,
you're right,
but it's just like, it's so hard to say.
Well, like what has worked for you may not work for everybody. And obviously the workshops obviously took off for you, and that's something that you do. And you still have how many of those would you do a year? And do you still have openings?
I usually do like for like a week or two workshop per year. Plus I do some guiding here in Quebec for the Alls and kayak tours. So yeah, it's honestly, this is working very well. And there is a girl that I know, tried to start that and didn't get anyone. So it's just so hard. I don't know actually why it's working. If you really ask me, I'm just like, I don't know. I know I'm pulling like everything I have. Like I would say my entire life is based on photography. I'm single, no children, so it really like 95% of my life is photography. So it's probably what worked for me here. So I'm very like committed to this 100%. So it's probably what's
100% your focus, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. So do you still have openings for your workshops? And
I don't think I do now. There's for the Alls in Quebec this winter. There's still a couple space.
And that's on your website. People can see that.
On my website.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that right now, and you're the one for January 2026 is full. The
Camargue, that's France.
Camargue in France.
That one is full too.
For the horses.
Yeah, I've been doing that one. It's actually Spain. The first one I started with after the Quebec tour was the, started in France. You've probably seen it, the white horses running in water.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's great.
That and flamingos. And I've been doing that one this one I think is the 5th time that I will be doing it. So it's a nice one. I always start my spring in southern France, which is great. I love doing this. But this one I think is full too.
Yeah, I see that. No, that's great. That's
people
awesome.
can keep an eye on your website then as
Yeah,
things come up.
Actually, the best way I think is to register to the newsletter, because
great.
Usually I don't reach the point that I announce it on Facebook, on Instagram, because it's always full. I will tell regular people and send the newsletter. So and then people will just sign up right away, because they know if they wait, they might not get a chance. So usually what I was doing before, I was just, always doing this post for Facebook and Instagram, but now I just never get to the point that I'm posting it because it's already full. So I'm just like, oh, sure. Okay. But it's a good problem, right? So that's pretty cool.
And that's the good point for somebody just starting out is the power of the newsletter and the fact that, a lot of the stuff gets missed on social media because of the algorithm or whatever it is, but you've got a captive audience. You have your audience through the newsletter. So the people you're reaching out to want to hear from you, which is a big difference than posting on Instagram.
I think so too.
Hoping it hits. I mean, because even on Instagram, I don't even know what the percentage is, but how often do your followers even see that unless they've got all the notifications turned on to see your post every day, right? So that newsletter is powerful. So, for those listening, just starting out, create that newsletter and start building your audience that way too. So it's that's
a good advice, I think, for people starting. Also, I did that also because I wanted, if, the social network crashes at some point, I don't think it's going to happen,
right.
But we never know, right?
Yeah.
Or if I get hacked or something, I was like, I'll need to start from the beginning or what? So I was like, maybe adding some email address and phone numbers could be interesting. A nice little database in case something major happens. So
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
We've chatted about that a lot. That's key for sure. So
I think so too.
Great way. So cool.
Well, Maxime, we're going to wrap things up here. I know you got another important interview coming up there, so we don't want to keep you, but we just really thank you so much for joining us here. Love to hear the stories. Obviously our audience is going to see those winning images and just how you approach everything. I think everybody's going to get some inspiration from this. So thanks again for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. That was real fun. Maybe I'll see you in Calgary next time.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah,
reach out. We may even tell you a spot or two where you can find some owls. So
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
And just before just one more thing, you have a book as well, right? You have a book.
That's right.
I do. Yeah, I have a book. It's actually on my website. It's it was out actually last year for my 10th anniversary. Let's say, photographer.
Great.
It's Québec Sauvage, which is translation of Wild Quebec. My best images from Quebec in the past 10 years. And it's available on my website.
Oh, perfect. So we'll leave a link for that also in the description for everybody.
Awesome.
So, perfect. Okay. Well, thanks again, Maxime. And we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Perfect. Cheers. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Thanks for watching.
Before we wrap up, we'd like to thank the Camera Store for supporting the Nature Photo Guys podcast.
They're a legendary name in photography, and their support helps us keep bringing you these episodes.
Don't forget to check them out at thecamerastore.com for all your photography and video needs.
Thanks for joining us on the Nature Photo Guys podcast. If you have any questions, contact us at info@thenaturePhotoGuys.ca or message us on Facebook and Instagram at the Nature Photo Guys podcast. Visit YouTube and subscribe to our channel to watch all our latest videos. Or follow and listen to our latest podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on our website at thenaturePhotoGuys.ca. We'll catch you next time on the Nature Photo Guys podcast.